Motion for the special meeting that was called for evaluations. Can I have a motion to recess this meeting and reconvene again? To recess the meeting and reconvene on Monday, the 28th at 3 p.m.? Right? Okay, second. Okay, so there's a motion to recess this evaluation meeting and reconvene it on Monday, the 28th at 3 p.m. There's already motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. This meeting is in recess until Monday. We are now going to open up the next meeting. Are you ready? Okay. This is a meeting of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. It's a regular board meeting, and for the record, those present are myself, Commissioner Chaco, Commissioner Sanchez, Commissioner Santos, and Commissioner Martinez. First up is approval of minutes. Okay, second, Commissioner Sanchez. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Let's go straight to the GWA resolutions. Or wait, GPA has, or GPA. Your GM report, John, the short version, right?
Dockets, a lot of dockets over at the PUC. They're working with it. Their meeting is on November 5th. I think they may address the phase 4 portion then. So I'll be attending that one next. We've issued all the credits. There is a bill again trying to put another 3 months into it, but again, that's being discussed. It's going to be discussed in the special session. But again, what John will note to you later is that the LEAC really are under recovery is down to about 14 million as of ending September. So if you take that's on the average about 3.5 million gain per month. By the end of January, we would have recovered our under recovery. Yeah, we went as high as 47 million.
47 million.
Yeah, so we would have recovered. And maybe it's just a little bit earlier, but again, it's still on track because we're going to be buying this cheap fuel. When we buy this cheap fuel, then of course that will ensure our meeting our under recovery. Next. I won't go too much, but again, this we still continue special assistance programs next for the community. Whenever they need help, LEHIP has actually stepped up. About almost 700,000 has been helped out. Next. We had a great Labor Day picnic, youth participation, and all of that. And of course, we won first place in both categories in the hot building and all of that. The team really went out to, most especially since we didn't have one we did last year because of Typhoon Mawar. Next. Graduated 16 apprentices. This year we graduated a total of about 30. We've also hired 20 under the 7th cycle, and at the beginning of the year we'll probably be hiring another 20 for the 8th cycle in apprenticeship. And again, we have to grow our T&D group, and again, most especially These are not journeymen in all the different fields of T&D, because T&D is the area in the future that will be, we'll certainly be concentrating and do a lot of our work on. Next. DSM, about the $1.6 million in rebates were given out in this fiscal year. Again, helping for getting air conditioning done. Where I thinking we're at now is that we've kind of make Guam quite more efficient now. So now we're starting to see sales develop from new customers, but even new customers are taking advantage of the rebates, no? So that we can maintain. But that's 1.6 million in this fiscal year that we have put together. Although we do have $3 million. There's more to give out, huh? Next. Ukudu, 91%. I believe we'll be getting fuel in November up there, and then they have to flush out the whole system. I think early next year, at the latest, they'll start firing those units. And again, that's to meet the September 30 deadline or pay $240,000 a day. There's an incentive for them to finish on September 15. To achieve that, I think they'll finish it out. I hope they hear me. No? Next. Yeah. Yeah. That's our fuel down from the big storage tank. The 1935 has been recertified and completed, and that's 268,000 barrels. So we're filling that up now to pump up there too. And so up there you can store about 160,000 barrels. And then the second tank will be done around summer of next year, certified. Remember those tanks now are 50 years old, but they've been recertified now again. Check the bottom and all of that. Things from the fuel, from the tanker, goes here. And some we did brought down just to fuel up a little bit and do some testing. But I think the next shipment is going to go straight to there. Because there's a Navy valve there, they call it. You can send it up or you can send it straight. Next. And again, just many pictures. You're starting to see it all shape. Go ahead. Next. Again. Next. Combustion, this is the steam turbine area. Combustion turbines are here. Next. This is the treated water tank. This is the one that's going to come from the GPWA wastewater and then treated. And then from here is going to go into the boilers. Next. And more. Next. There's our storage tank for the oil. The ultra low sulfur diesel. What they're doing now is completing the dike around so that if there's a leak, it will be contained within the next water treatment building. So everything is moving, and again, they have to get these things operating if they're going to starting the unit. But they have to flush the whole system, get everything out. From welding materials to so and so. Next. There's the cooling system, or instead of a condenser and using ocean water, this is how it's cooled, evaporated cooling. Again, there's the northern wastewater treatment area we're working on. Next. Pipeline is still completed. They're going to be hydro testing the natural gas line, but the diesel line is ready. Okay. Cathodic protection, again, to protect the piping. Here's the pump station, it's all there now. Just aligning it, doing these various things. Next. Generation KPIs, next. Again here, the peak demand, as you can see, the red one is the last 12 months. It's a moving 12 months. So as you can see, it's starting to head north. We did have one day of 167, actually. Here's our sales. As you can see, the red line again is the 12 months. The others here will start moving up, the 2-year and 3-year, but sales are moving now. Again, part of it now is the marine base is coming, and it's going to continue now to add more and more customers into it. Net generation, again, everything is pointing north now. Heat rate is improving. Again, part of it is Greco's also helping in this for now. Next. So that's the. I'd like to note, yes, that the John is working on the insurance, and that you know, it's for such a very difficult period for insurance because of all the catastrophes. Looking that they will hold our insurance rates, no? Where it was instead of increasing it like other areas and stuff. So basically, that's all I have today, Mr. Chair. Unless there's other questions. Any questions? Commission.
Thank you, John B.
And Liat will be again
Ready next month.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have any questions for John Kim? John? Basically, I was gonna say, you know, the REACT that you're going to be, will be brought to us at the next month meeting? Yes. I just want to check. For our REACT, right?
For the February 1.
For the number.
But we are on track to fully recover the original advance of $48 million is currently at. The unknown, the uncertainty is the Middle East, as usual. So far, Middle East has not shock in oil prices. Hopefully it won't, but there are events beyond our control. Key is that the renewables in Ukudu use significantly less fuel. That's where you start to really begin to reduce power bills, or what power bills could be, even if there was a crisis, right? And less fuel we use, the lower power. Phase 4 renewables and Ukudu give us, and the recovery of the 50 million, actually, first order, the recovery of the 48 million by February 1, which help do when it comes online next September, helps us.
I just have one final question. We approved 2 of the phase 4 renewables, and so I just want to make sure in my mind I'm clear on what the next steps are. Those will be brought to us at some point in the future, or
you have already now is at the PUC for approval.
Right.
Once they approve that, we can contract to move forward.
okay.
The balance of the 4 or so moments are still going through the system. Once
Okay.
they're ready, that's the time of if and in fact.
Yeah, so that, I just wanted to make sure we understand that the 2 ones that we approved are not for the PUC. Once the PUC grants approval. Sure.
Storing energy.
I like that because we want to get going. We don't want to have any more failures like we had, or, okay? Commissioner Santos, you had a question? Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Your previous life or your
previous
dad?
life.
Move to recess. Senior die.
No.
Question, can we get a copy of the contract?
Yes, once we give you.
The ones that went to the ones we already approved.
Well, no, we never really got it, right? Terms and conditions and,
Still working.
yeah.
on
we
the
Oh, because
never-
you're waiting for the PUC. Yeah. That.
I mean, I'm not sure. How does the process work?
That's what I was gonna.
You have a draft?
Marianne, can I ask-
Stop. Prior to approval, or, again, my question was on a particular contract that we just approved, I never saw some conditions. That's our sole duty here, is to approve a contract.
As soon as we're done, we'll send it
Right.
to all the
Okay, so again, I had shared with Chairman Dueñas, in the future, you will not combine projects. They'll be all separate, stand on their own, and be approved on their own. Okay, so, and
Yeah.
again, yeah, if you can, share what you can, Mary Ann.
Yeah.
At least there's parts of a contract that we'd like to see, terms and conditions, and of course, what the rates are gonna look like.
Okay.
We're buying from these people now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the single most important thing. I think we need to remind our ratepayers that we're not in the power producing business, we're in the buying business.
Yeah.
But the good news is those prices are locked,
Yeah,
but the
Right.
paper, now we have to paper it. Now we
Right.
have to create a contract for it.
and so therefore, Mary Ann, I think as you.
We should still approve the final. You always bring those back.
Well, we can give you the, take a look at valuation.
Mary Ann,
Because
just a
it's not
question,
gonna-
that's a good question.
It's not gonna
I don't-
increase, it's not doing anything more on the terms and conditions. Infrastructure and all those. It's not doing anything. The red line in our. It does not increase, so it does not, any line. But we can, it's just more a timing issue. Because, this, get this, get. So, again, we have to bring it back. Okay. We can look at if we have any issues, we can address it. You be back and forth between our engineers saying this is the way, and they're saying, hey, I think we need to do it this way.
But once you bring it to us, John,
I mean, so the concept is I'm building a 60 meg solar farm, but it interacts.
Yeah,
That's actually,
right,
But we can, after they're done and agreed or disagree or whatever, then.
but, okay, but I'm trying to make sure we have the process down. You know, this is like only our third time actually approving a solar contract. We've only approved two before this one, the one in Luzon
Well,
and the one in Marco. Those are the only
and
two
then
we've
Hanwha we
approved.
just authorized, right?
Manwar,
Hanwha.
we did approve, but we're waiting to see what, we had to renegotiate, amended the contract. Okay, so here's the thing, I want to make the process this year. When you bring us the resolution for approval of the next. Marianne, am I correct on the process? I just want to make sure. Yeah, so, okay? Right?
I have one more question.
Sure, Commissioner Santos.
The system impact study, that study is gonna go through review by our friends at the PUC?
It's part of the contract,
No,
right?
no,
Gary?
I mean, we just went through GWA and a consultant that beat us to death.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Is this process also part of the process for this particular filing?
Not necessarily that they,
But they can?
if they want to, they can ask for it.
But in the past, they haven't looked at
But
this.
other than that, it's really highly technical, really modeled and everything.
But it's part of the contract. It's part of the contract.
Contract
But it's the
detail,
technical side
Yeah.
versus the,
conditions
Well,
and that.
isn't that
According
what
to
we
the-
did with Champ Consulting when we got too technical for in the sense that?
System study will say, you will need to operate.
Oh, you attend the meeting.
No.
I mean, they're gonna
guys,
ask the rate impact.
Right.
I'm not sure they ask about the technical interface per se, because they sort of say, that's our job. I mean, we're coming to them saying, it meets the technical.
I'm just asking the question, Commissioner
It's a good question,
Sanchez.
it's a good question.
Well, can we,
Well,
I mean, this is not just, I don't think it's gonna be rubber stamped by the PUC.
But there's a limit to their role, right? They
Then why do they
don't run
hire-
into
then why-
John
Then why do they hire a consultant that we have to pay for,
to
Simon?
look at the part of
Come
their
on,
role.
you know, that.
No, they
doesn't-
look at the rate impact. They're not
I
gonna,
understand that.
Georgetown's not gonna go look at how the technical interface.
Or whoever they decide to hire,
Well, whoever
right?
they hire,
Yeah.
doesn't go normally, you never know, right? But normally doesn't go look at the technical interface. They take it, we certify to them that we reviewed it. And there is letter that tell John how to make the sausage, right? He just says, this is the sausage we've agreed to make. It's gonna have X rate or no rate or whatever the rate impact is. PUC looks at that. I think in the history of the PUC, I've never seen the consultant dive into, you know, what is the, I don't agree with the technical interface between this, you know, this solar farm in Dundon and how it's entering the grid. I've never seen.
It's hard for them to go there because then the price, the liability of those things to them. See?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because do they want to be liable for all of this, making a technical decision of which proponents that know this system, right, are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair the past that, and you're saying, no, I don't want it because of that.
And once they approve, let's say the relation goes up for some technical reason years after everyone's approved that burden, right? To say, hey, you did this, and this was the bid, and this was the interface, was the technical agreement you say you would do, right? The PUC is not really equipped to be engineers to our due diligence is supposed to be.
I think Commissioner Santos is right. We should see the contract.
Yes.
No, I like to see the contract. No problem.
The contract's gonna be based on this.
Contract, yes.
Yeah, before, when you bring us a resolution, Commissioner Martinez has a question.
I just wanted to ask, so when it's presented to the CCU, in a draft contract,
The resolution.
or the resolution?
So it'll be attached to the resolution, right? Yeah, it'll be attached to the resolution. And okay, and the other thing that I want to make sure commissioners understand is, in that contract, mentioning that would be the same thing that you're doing with the draft contract.
Put the deposit.
Yeah, whatever, the performance bond, they have to put
Based
in.
on the first year of operation contract.
And that's a good example. Like the PUC consultant has no business saying, I don't like that milestone. That's not your role.
No, but we get to see those
No,
milestones.
we get to
We
see
get-
it.
yeah.
But once we send it to them, the
Yeah,
PUC's
yeah.
role, because I think Commissioner Santos asked the right question, but in terms of, do they go in and say, I don't like the technical interface that you've negotiated to make sure that solar farm comes online. I want the milestone change from June to September. One, that's not their role, and number two, I've never seen them dive into the weeds, that level of weed. They arm wrestle on rates.
Okay, Commissioner Chapa.
And then this contract, the one that you're actually reading,
Again, 3 years, no liability is passed, meaning whatever happens on your side of the farm.
It was like the flood at Manila, right? That was on their side.
Liable to any financing organization that you want. And you know, that kind of happens when you make moves. I don't understand.
The reason why this is important is because, like, for example, on how to amend the contract, we have some changes. This one, if we do it right, we don't have to make any changes. And that all funds for them to put in their money, show financial ability to actually pull off and do all that stuff. They sign,
Then they put on the deposit.
yeah, and then they're on the hook. Okay. Okay. Good. Everybody. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Kim. Thank you. Look forward to that at the next meeting. Maybe. Good job. Thank you. Thank you, John. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're up to bat. Let's go.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I think Chris did a
Chris is
good
gonna-
job with the general manager's
Oh,
report,
yeah.
so there's no need to go into any of
No,
that,
you don't
right?
need your general manager's
Straight
report.
into five, is seeking your approval of our fiscal year 25 O&M budget, based on the approved
Approved five-year rate.
five-year rate plan that the PUC provided in September. This will supersede the interim resolution, or interim budget that was approved by the board under Resolution 32, FY '24. And so the new budget is based on the approved rates, which will include an 11.5% increase, and a total projected revenues for fiscal year 2025 at $138.4 million, and operating costs projections at $97.6 million, excluding depreciation and debt service and IFCIP. So that $97.6 million is the budget also includes projected debt service of $38.9 million and $12.5 million contribution to internally funded CIP. That should leave us at a debt service coverage ratio of 1.32 times, which is above the minimum of 1.25. And if there are any excess revenues, we have a provision which would allow us to put that into the rate stabilization fund, as long as we meet the debt service coverage target.
Picks up anybody.
Commissioner Tucker.
Sure.
Let's
Thanks.
start here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Miguel, have we started to forecast
That they had received, with information they had received from John Cruz at GPA regarding potential costs. I did have a discussion with Mr. Beneventi once that was presented to us, and told him that I would like to take the position in those stipulation agreements that we're going to keep what we have estimated for fiscal year 25, to give us the opportunity to put together with Mr. B a more robust projection of what our expenses might be after it comes online, and then we would handle any adjustments in the 26 true-up.
Which is April?
We're going to try and have our package ready internally in March, and then we'll bring it to you in April.
it's really going to only impact 2 months?
Yeah,
It'll
but
come on, but it's still
Maybe some benefit from the recovery.
next the following fiscal.
Yeah, even big. And you've already factored small reduction. Yeah, that's expected.
We had what
Okay, why'd you do that first? We shouldn't do the, yeah. Motion-
Mr. Chair, I move to approve GWA Resolution Number 01 FY 2025 relative to approving the Guam Water Works Authority fiscal year 2025 operations and maintenance budget.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Salas.
Okay, now my question.
Okay, now your question.
All right, guys, where do we put that nice $5 million that the Navy's gonna give us?
They haven't,
That's,
well,
no,
if they give it to
I
when they give it.
thought they gave us already.
Well, they did, but I think, and I probably would created some of the confusion, the rating, the rate plan Miguel put together, right, was going to accumulate some significant savings to us, to the ratepayers over a 5-year
Yeah.
period, right? And we were counting on a more normal Navy water cost, right? And crazy, and now they give it back. So it seems to me that Miguel's plan try to accumulate up as much as $1 million of internally available monies that we don't have to borrow. You know, at least it seems to me to confirmation.
Simon, I'm asking about million. About 100, no, I don't care about 100 million. We have unrealized income of $5 million.
He gets to keep it.
Merry Christmas.
He gets to keep it.
Where does it go?
unrealized expense for any additional unanticipated increases expenses over the fiscal year, and we meet our debt service target, then we would propose that we would transfer that
Into the
rate
RSF?
stabilization fund.
That's all I wanted to hear. I wasn't, I mean, it's,
And he's
Because
building
of
up
the,
that fund.
because of the increase that was required when we did the projections, we did not include any contributions to the RSF until 2026, right? And if we save some money because of the reduction or a lower than projected expenses on the Navy water purchase side, then we can, with the provision that's in there, put this money into the RSF. And I think there will something that the PUC in the discussions after they passed
The resolution, right.
after they approved the 5-year plan, they were comfortable.
So I guess the question after this, whatever you call it, 5 years, what, I thought there was a limit that they wanted us to put into the RSF of X amount per year, right? 1.25?
2.25 million. We had 2.5 million in
Right.
4 years just to get up to 10
what it
million
should be, right.
by the end of the 5 year. They did not agree with the fee, which we replenished it.
Right.
They gave us half of what we asked for and recognized that it might take longer, but they want us to get to the comfortable level.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, are we ready for the question? On the motion? All those in favor signifying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimous.
Next, Mr. Chair, is Resolution 03, FY 2025, and this is seeking approval of our supply contract for liquid for water production and treatment facilities. This is necessary and urgent, obviously, because it is necessary for us to meet the safe drinking water regulations for the protection of public health and safety and to avoid any disruptions with our supply of potable water. Given the critical nature of our of chlorine and protecting the island's drinking water, this contract is essential. The cost of the contract will be for our supply of chlorine for our deep wells in 150-pound chlorine cylinders. Projected annual cost at $898,000, and then for the 1-ton cylinders that we use for the surface water treatment plant, that is about $86,000. So our annual cost is about $984,000, and a total 3-year contract term at $2.9 million. Because this exceeds the $1 million threshold, we believe that this is really, there is no alternative to this. It needs to be done. It's a regulatory requirement, and it also is referenced, the chlorination and meeting the safe drinking water regulations is also required under the court order. If we are required to go before the PUC, we are seeking that authority as well.
Motion to accept GWA resolution number 3-FY 2025.
Second, Commissioner Talco. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next resolution is 04 FY 2025, and this is seeking approval to procure project management and design services for sewer transmission system work island-wide. These are contracts that we are seeking, one for Northern and Central Guam and one for Southern and Central Guam. Two different procurements that we will issue in order for us to meet the requirements of the partial consent decree. So it is necessary and urgent based on the time frame for the project's compliance requirements specified in the partial consent decree that need to be completed within the 10-year period. The work is intended to be split the island in half, and each IDIQ will cover projects to be undertaken in those areas. We anticipate, because we have not done any procurements yet, we don't have any firm costs, but we anticipate that each contract will exceed $1 million easily. And so in the event that we are required to seek the PUC's approval, we are also seeking that authorization through this resolution. Again, this is pre-procurement approval that we're seeking now. We'll come back to you with contracts once we finish the procurement.
Commissioner Santos?
Yeah, motion to accept and approve resolution number 4-FY 2025.
Second, Commissioner Talco. Any further discussion? None? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next is Resolution 5, FY 2025, and this is seeking funding amendments for IDIQ contracts. The first one, this is with AECOM, and this is a contract for project and construction management services for island-wide sewer collection, transmission system repair, rehab, and replacement. Again, these are contracts that were issued in anticipation of the work that's required for the partial consent decree. We have an existing contract in place with AECom, and the initial task order was below 1 million, which is why you may not have seen this authorization request before, but we have issued a second task order, which anticipates a significant increase in the cost of the overall contract. And so for task order number 2, new projects that will be required under the partial consent decree include condition assessment and design for gravity lines for Route 10, work at the Ipao and Mamahana sewer pump stations, which are specifically listed as priority projects in the partial consent decree, and then gravity main capacity assurance on Route 1 in Dedido, and then also potential repair of acute defects that are identified as we do some of these assessments on our gravity main system. So these will be obviously at various locations around the island. The initial contract award was for $1 million. We are seeking with some modification to the first task order and task order number 2, an additional $3.786 million. So we are seeking authorization to increase the total contract amount to, by 4.03 million, so the total funding amount of 5.035 million.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, motion to approve resolution number 5-FY 2025.
Second? Second, Commissioner Talco. Any further discussion? None? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Okay.
Next is Resolution 6, FY 2025. This is a similar IDIQ contract for island-wide sewer collection transmission system repair, rehab, and replacement. This contract is with Brown and Caldwell. Again, the initial contract was issued under with a task order under $1 million, and therefore you may not have seen this before. We are now seeking task order number 2. This additional task order, again, is for partial consent decree projects in Agate, Santa Rita, Mauricio, and pump stations in the south, as well as potential assessment and repair, design and repair for acute defects along the gravity mains in our collection system. The additional task order was negotiated at $3.96 million. Again, with the $1 million and the initial contract authorization, we are seeking total contract amount, approval for a total contract amount of $4.962 million for these projects.
I'll move to approve resolution number 6-FY 2025.
Second, Commissioner Talco.
Session, whether or not these assessment and preliminary designs will, for the Agate Santa Rita area, will address the recent stormwater inundation that section experienced.
Yeah, there are specific projects or specific areas here that will be assessed and rehabilitated to provide sufficient capacity and also to eliminate infiltration and inflow in the sewer system in the Agate area, which resulted, that type of I&I resulted during heavy rainstorms in the backups that were reported. So if that was the concern, yeah, this project should help to alleviate that.
Miguel, I might be off the side question, but are there any other discussions? You brought up something about Brown and Caldwell being asked to be an expert witness on the landfill?
They are a contractor on the landfill, and they have issued a report to the receiver trying to place the cost the receiver is claiming for excess leachate purely squarely on the shoulders of GWA, but they are also involved in the design and the construction of the closure system, which, based on information that is contained in GovGuam's lawsuit and complaint filed against Black Construction, Brown and Caldwell, and other members of the construction and design team, that there were defects in the closure system that would mean that regardless of whether GWA had any leaks or not, water would have, stormwater and rainwater would have entered into the leachate
Because of
collection
their-
system because of that construction or design defect.
Okay.
And so there is somewhat of a conflict with Brown and Caldwell on this issue. I have discussed it with their management, and they assured us that they would be putting up the appropriate kind of conflict walls within their organization. But it still is a concern for me, and I've raised this with
Yeah.
legal counsel, and also raised the question of whether or not we need to consider perhaps terminating some of the contracts with Brown and Caldwell because of this apparent conflict.
Marianne, I guess the question from our side on the insurance, uninsured, is it, can we be indemnified from that? I mean, the conflicts, maybe I can, but, something to research if you don't mind? Yeah, because it'd be nice to, again, it's just another form of protection for the agency, right? You indemnify us if something comes up. Another mechanism. It's nothing, it's not fancy. It's pretty simple terms. Something happens, you cover us, right? Thanks, man. If you can get back to us on that and let us know. Okay? Yeah. Because otherwise, they better have a real nice, deep errors and omissions, or what do you guys call it in your side?
Yeah.
Professional liability?
Professional
No,
liability
it's,
insurance.
they have their own because they're PEs, right? Yeah. I don't know what you guys
so-
want. Okay? Yeah, that's just basically
That's
it, covering our,
No further questions? Ready for the question? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous.